All right, it's Labor Day, and I want to take a step back and I want to give you guys a little history of why we celebrate Labor Day. Maybe you've never heard it before. The roots of Labor Day grew out of violent clashes between working class citizens, aka the laborers, and police during the Haymarket riots in 1886, when thousands of workers in Chicago took to the streets to demand a simply 8-hour workday. Their working conditions in the corporate factories, the railroads, the mills, and the mines were in some cases no better than slavery, as accounts have been given. Employees, including children, were required to work more than 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, in crowded, poorly ventilated, very harsh spaces. Ultimately, this led to riots and clashes with the police. Why did they clash with the police? Well, I want you guys to remember, I'm not against the police, but I want you to keep it in mind of who the police work for. They don't work for you and me. We pay them, but their orders come from the ruling class of politicians. And the politicians take their orders not from those who elected them on campaign promises, but rather the corporations that pay for their luxury lifestyles. And corporations take their orders from the board of directors, an even smaller group of influencers, and the board stays in power by the will of the truly elite billionaire class. And the billionaires sneak away to private islands where they keep each other's secrets and whisper in each other's ears their maleficent plans. Now, so in honor of those factory workers who stood up to police 100 years ago, I wanted to start with what I'm going to call a cold opening video to take account of where we're at today. Please watch this.
I'm having a day. Or I'm having a life. I don't know, man. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm sitting outside work, crying my eyes out in my vehicle, because I can't function anymore. Financially, I don't understand anymore. I don't understand how I make $34 an hour and I can't function. I can't function. I can't pay my bills. I can't even literally keep gas in my car to get to work 3 days a week because I can't afford it. Like, I get paid and it goes to car, mortgage, a couple little bills, and then maybe $80 in food for the week. And I literally only buy groceries when my daughter's home now. On the weeks that she goes with her dad, which is Monday to Monday, what I've started doing is I buy a loaf of rye bread and I work really hard to keep that one loaf of rye bread lasting me the whole week.
Guys, the bottom line is she's coming up short. She has a decent job. She's worked hard her entire life. She hasn't made foolish decisions, but she's coming to a point where it's just simply not working anymore. So why is that? Why is she doing everything right, getting a great job, being responsible, climbing in the ranks of her profession, only to come to a place where for some reason the ends are not meeting and she's barely scraping together money for food? Well, I want to take a step back and I want to talk about my own personal situation. God has blessed me with the knowledge to be able to gain wealth, which I consider to be a privilege. It's one of the reasons why I get on here and I share my journey with you guys so that you could potentially learn and find some benefit from what I'm doing day to day with my stock and my crypto trades, as well as the knowledge that I've accumulated about Wall Street. As a result of that knowledge that I've built, the truth is that I make more money than I need, and I have for a long time, and I consider that a huge blessing. But that has not always been the case, and I can tell you for a fact, when I was in my early 20s, I had a couple kids, I had a house, I had a car, and I remember that every month I was feeling this tight economic strain, and I would sit down and try to budget, and I would write down every single expense we had. I'm talking, I would take into consideration how many times my wife was changing the diapers and how many boxes of diapers that we were buying each month, and I would calculate every last figure to the penny, and I can tell you that in my entire 20s, every single time I did that financial exercise, I came up short. I remember being short $80 a month. I remember being short $240 a month. And I would declare to my wife after all of the homework had been done on our finances, I would say, well, if we do everything perfect and we don't misspend a single dollar anywhere. The grocery store, the light bill, anywhere. If we don't misspend a single dollar, we're going to be a couple $100s short this month and every other month. And like so many families, I would run a deficit, and that would cause me to get slowly behind in my bills, which eventually at the end of the year, I would do my taxes, I'd get that earned income credit for my kids, and I'd get that government check, and I would pay down all of my bills, and we'd get caught up for the year. And we ran many, many years like that. Till eventually my career grew, my income grew, and eventually I got into trading and I learned a new path. And at this point, I've got kids who've gotten married, starting their own family, putting together their own household budgets, and facing the need to grow their wealth to be able to pay their own way. And I can tell you guys, just like her, I'm shocked. I think all the time about how hard it is and how much money they're going to have to make so that they can survive. And why did all of this happen? Well, we know the answer. The government has eroded the value of the dollar by excessive spending, and I want you guys to see this with your own eyes today. So look at this article with me. 80% of all US dollars in existence were printed in the last 22 months, from 4 trillion in January 2020 to 20 trillion in October 2021. So yes, you heard that right. Just in the last 22 months, 80% of the total volume of dollars that have been created by the government are brand new, freshly printed, brand new dollars pushed into the system. It means that our parents and our grandparents and the entire history of the United States that precedes us had only created 20% of the money that exists right now. And so what did that do? What damage to the economy did that cause? Well, at the moment, it caused record high inflation, higher than inflation has been in over the last 40 years, when inflation hit 7.5% in 2021. And the result of this money printing is that it fuels the rise in the value of stocks and crypto and commodities, but incomes, they simply don't move as fast. So what was once a good job, making $10, $20, or even $30 an hour, means nothing anymore. The working class or the laborers get left behind. The Fed prints money, the dollar drops in value, and this enslaves millions of Americans. And Americans become Americans because it's just not working anymore. Now, I want you guys again to see something with your own eyes. I'm going to take you to a Google website. All you got to type in is CPI inflation calculator. And this is going to give you an idea of the impact of inflation on income. So if we start off in the 1970s, and let's assume that your father might have made $50,000 in the 1970s, for you to be able to maintain or to have the lifestyle that he had created for you, either your mother or your father, right now, for you to be able to have the exact same lifestyle and the exact same income that he had comparably, this calculator will show you that your current income needs to be $404,000. So yes, nearly $500,000 to compare to a $50,000 income in the 1970s. You guys know that a lot of you are not making $500,000 right now, so you are not able to recreate the lifestyle that you may have grown up in. Now, I want to just take a minute, guys, and I'm going to share a song which a lot of you guys have heard. You've heard it well before. I've introduced it to you guys, but today's Labor Day, and I think this song is extremely fitting to the sentiment and to the attitude, or at least to the attitude that we need to be having today as we reflect on our lives, we reflect and we rest from our labors. Just take a minute and listen to this again with me with a fresh set of ears today on Labor Day.
Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. 'Cause the rich men, 'cause the rich men politicians look out for miners, and not just miners on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the whole beast milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. 'Cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, 'cause the rich men north of Richmond. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
So just like he said, living in a new world with an old soul, rich men north of Richmond. If you don't know what that line means, Richmond is a city in the state that he lives, which is directly south of Washington, D.C. So he's saying that there are rich men north of Richmond, which is in Washington. It says, Lord knows they all just want to have total control. They want to know what you think. They want to know what you do, but they don't think that you know, but I know that you do. And I like that line because it's probably the most pointed line in his entire song, where he's basically appealing to all the listeners, saying that you and I both know that there is something wrong in Washington, that those rich men are doing something that directly affects us, directly affects our way of life, directly affects the future of our children, and we need to just wake up and acknowledge and start talking out loud and saying to each other, we know what's going on, we know what they're doing, and we know it's not right. And on that note, I know that you know that we have to take back the power of the people. And to do that, you need to acknowledge that the way that the politicians take power is by dividing us one against the other. They use race, they use gender, they use age, and they use income to divide us. But the truth is that we do hold the power, and we decide the outcome of this country. I want to remind you guys, BlackRock, State Street, Fidelity, and all of the big investment firms, their only power is control of your 401k. These guys, they get those portions of your paycheck that get put in from the job in the company that you work for, that you labor at, and it just piles in cash from millions of Americans, and that's what they're using to control corporations and to control you. And then you've got the politicians, which are always just one against the millions who put them into office. I just want to take a minute today on Labor Day, and I want to acknowledge why this holiday exists. It exists to remember those who had to fight and push back on the government for basic human rights. And you know what? As we're resting and we're taking a little bit of a break from our labors, it's time for us to reflect and ask if it's time for us to push back again. Guys, I hope you got some rest today. Tomorrow, the markets are going to be open. Yesterday, in my Sunday video, I talked about trading today. I was a little disoriented by my vacation, and I had to get 100 comments saying, Josh, the market's closed Monday. Yes, the market's closed Monday. Tomorrow, we're going to be at it again. And just take a minute. Thank you for hitting that like. And if you want to be part of my trade journey, if you want to hear about my stock and crypto investments and swing trades, you got to hit that subscribe and that YouTube all notification bell. Because what we're doing on this page each and every day, we're trying to kick down the golden door of Wall Street and to get our hands on the wealth building opportunity that is represented there every single day. Over 20 years ago, I learned the power of Wall Street. I viewed it as a cash printing machine, but there was a code that had to be cracked. There's lessons that have to be learned. There's disciplines in trading as well as attitudes and psychologies towards trading, but it's a journey that's worth taking. You guys can take it with me. I share my journey, my knowledge, my experience, and my view of these markets each and every day. So hit that subscribe button. Also, I want to remind you guys that I'm doing a meet and greet in Los Angeles tomorrow between 5:30 and 8:30. I'm going to pin the address in the top pinned comment of this video, as well as the description of this video. I would love for you guys to come out and join me so you can meet me and Larry Jones. And listen, I'm coming prepared to lay out some gems for you guys tomorrow for those who show up, as well as just being thrilled to meet some of you guys. And also, if you're just beginning your wealth building journey, I want you guys to check out the Moomoo Investment app. It's a zero commission trade platform that will give you up to 16 free stock and a $50 cash bonus just for opening and funding an account. It's available in the US, Australia, and Canada. You can click on the link in the top pinned comment, as well as the description of this video, to get the full details of their limited time offer. Now, in addition to that, I use them because of their better trade tools, but I also host a chat group on the app. It's a free chat group. It's called Stock Josh Fam. Get your free stock, get your cash, and come find us where I'm going to be talking there tomorrow morning. And for even more connection, you guys can join the Patreon that we just launched. It's got Stock Up with Larry Jones, a momentum trader, Keenan Grace, who teaches options every day, myself, as well as StockMo. We're going to be laying out new content in that platform this week. Thank you guys for joining me today. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section exactly what you think about what I shared today. What are your thoughts on it? Let me know. Again, I hope you have a restful day. Peace and blessings. We'll see you tomorrow.